shine so bright. We are awakened, coming.
Awakened Radio Network is the information station for awakened people who live awake, aware, alert, and create consciously. Join us in the live chat room at awakendradio.net/live chat room. Take part in our creation through our forums, chat, and calling in on our live shows. Check out our services tab at awakendradio.net. Right up under the banner, click where it says services. You can find out how to host your own show on our network. You can also find out about delivering your empowerment message to our global listeners. There's also information there on how to advertise on the Awakened Radio Network. Are you ready to host your show with the Awakened Radio Network? Our station is dedicated to helping you share your message with our global audience. Visit awakendradio.net, look under Service tab at the top of the page for more information, and you can also add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and talk with Donna Devane about being an Awakened Radio host. Thank you for your love and support of the Awakened Radio Network. Your donations and purchases from our Awakened store help us to stay on the air and grow as we reach the globe with the message of personal empowerment. Visit us today at awakendradio.net to be part of this creation of awesomeness.
Welcome to Your Unfolding Senses. I'm your host, Ragozzine, and this show is about everything intuition. And it's brought to you by Intuition by Rob.net. Hello everyone, I'm Rob Ragozzine. Thanks for joining us. It's March 21st, 2013. This show is about allowing yourself the opportunity to explore your full intuitive sensory capabilities in practical and fun ways, and we'll do our regular intuitive challenge, which is a lot of fun, in a little bit. But please join us in the Awakened Radio chat room by coming to awakendradio.net and clicking on the live chat tab, or if you're driving, just continue to listen. You can call us if you do stop your car if you're driving at 334-649-7204. Or if you're at your computer, you can add Awakened Radio to Skype and call us up. If you have a dream question or intuition question, or maybe you've had some sort of weird psychic event, call us and we'll talk about it. And if you're so inclined and you've enjoyed our previous shows, like Chris's show that was just on, any and all donations are greatly appreciated, and we're here for you at no cost to you. So please find it in your heart to click at the donate button. It's at the top of all the screens, usually top left, I guess, but you'll see it, big, nice yellow donate button, and it means a lot to us. Today's show is all about centering. We wonder why we can't relax or meditate, but then we don't think about making room for the meditation. We don't think about slowing down. We just let our mind continue to chatter, and we don't slow it down. We don't have a special space in our home for it, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Please feel free to call in, as I just mentioned, or post in the chat if you have a question about this, past topics, or anything else that's puzzling you. Again, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Chris Beulah. And stay tuned for the Aurora Connection with Christina Chandler after my show. Now, let's do our regular meditation. And will settle in to connect more deeply to our intuition. If you need to, you might get up and shake your arms and legs to let go of the tension from the day and just let go of any stress and let it all go. Maybe give a good whoop and then find yourself a comfortable position, maybe lying down or sitting comfortably and closing your eyes and slowly taking deep and gentle breaths, releasing any additional stress that you might have, gently connecting inward to your inner knowing, inner calm and tranquility. Allow the tranquility to fill your body. Believe, feel, and know that your answers are within. You may even have a question that you've been thinking about. Now's the time to connect in and ask about it. Continuing to breathe slowly and gently and deeply, and spending time here connecting to your body and all of your senses. Allowing whatever comes into your perception to come. Perhaps a symbol, word, phrase, color, whatever it is. It might be an answer to your question. If nothing comes, that's okay. And allowing yourself a few more moments in this space. And when you're ready, you can begin to slowly bring your awareness back to the room, beginning to breathe normally, and gently begin to open your eyes. Now I've posted the intuitive challenge on my website, and I'm putting it into the chat room. And the secret object for the night is in front of me. So tune in to all of your senses, whether it's smell, sight, feeling, memories, emotions. Tap into all of that, but don't stress or force yourself to sense something. Just be comfortable and let whatever information comes come to you. I always say, don't dismiss anything either. Let it all come and see how it might ultimately be related to the object in the end. You could always click through if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not getting anything, but never feel that way. Notice even the small things. Maybe a memory pops up, maybe a color, whatever it is. Use it to your benefit. Jot it down. Maybe words come. Maybe you feel like drawing something. That might help you to connect more deeply with your intuition. So draw whatever comes to your mind. Maybe you feel like singing or dancing. Go do that. That might help you to connect in with the secret object. And know that you can always click through and see what it is anyway. But give yourself a chance to connect in to your intuition and determine what it is. And let go of the critical voice that says, oh, this is silly, and always pay attention to how you feel, not only emotional-wise, but how your body feels. Maybe your neck tingles or your arms feel like they want to do something. That's okay. Maybe if you move your arms in the motion that they feel connected to, you might come into some new intuition. Just notice any body sensations and ask yourself what they might be connected to. Shapes, colors, emotions, they're all important. And notice things as they come. If you're not getting anything, like I said, you might try picking up a pen and writing down whatever comes to mind. And we already have a guess, intuitive deduction in the chat room, and it's shiny eyes. And I would ask, what does shiny eyes mean to you? And it could be connected to the secret object. I'm saying that it's a very close connection. It's a good hint, and I'll let it be at that. And Donna says, seeing brightly, again, very close to the secret object. I guess I'm thinking way too loudly tonight. But if you have any intuitive hits in your own of your own, you can post those in the chat room as well, or call in and talk to me about it. This week we're talking about being centered, being grounded. Last week we talked about picking up on the past, like for instance, if someone else was in the room before us, picking up on some of their sensations, some of their issues, and that's where smudging or decluttering or feng shui really comes into play. And spring cleaning is also a good topic to talk about. Something I'm doing, I'm going through a lot of my old books and donating them and clearing them out. Just notice how you're reacting to your home. The things in your home, are they welcoming? Is your home welcoming? Now is a great chance to make your home more welcoming, and it helps to center. And it's related not only to the numerological theme of the year, which is related to taking care of yourself with compassion, taking care of your home, and making sure that it's inviting and nurturing, but also the Chinese New Year's, the year of the water snake, which started in February, I believe. It's all about opening to your intuitive power with the water. So, and allowing things to flow within your life. So by clearing your home, you're helping things to flow a lot easier. Have you ever been to someone's home and it just didn't feel right? Well, that's a lot to deal with clearing out the dynamics of the room. That's where the decluttering can be very powerful, the feng shui, the smudging, revitalizing the space so that it's inviting to people. People want to be there. How about at work? You might try to bring some plants in, as the plants can help to lighten the mood and freshen the atmosphere. Stones, too, if it's appropriate, so some sort of crystals. But this is about you, and the outer tools can be very, very helpful. But what about when you don't have access to them? So really learning to connect in with your own powers and abilities is very, very important. So perhaps seeing a clearing taking place where you work and feeling how it feels when you get there. Maybe imagining a giant bubble clearing away the stagnant energy. And remember, something like that before a meeting or a family discussion, you might take a deep breath, and that's part of centering yourself. Taking time to be in the moment, to focus and calm yourself. Now, I don't see any more intuitive deductions in the chat room. Donna mentions golden light. It is about light, I want to say. So make sure that you're connecting to what the light represents. And I don't want to say too much without giving away the object. I'd like to see some more clues in the chat room. And Donna again says headlights. And you're very, very close. You were close when we began the show. And I'll have to, at this point, mention what the secret object is, because it's a flashlight. And I did post the picture in the chat room, the link to the picture. You can click that and see the flashlight. And just scrolling back, you said you saw, obviously, the headlights and bright lights and shining in people's eyes, I believe, was the best hit so far. Good job, Donna. You get the Intuitive Challenge Award of the night. 3 gold stars out of 3. Now, onto the a weekly divination practice. Last week we talked about working with tarot on a deeper level and choosing one card to explore for the whole week. Did you do it? I did. And for this week, I've drawn the Devil card. And people always have a reaction to this card and the Death card as well. The strongest reactions. First thing I always tell people to do when working with the tarot is to notice your reaction. How are you reacting? And I just remembered that I didn't mention the phone number to call in. So that's 334-649-7204. And back to the divination practice. The Devil, for me, really talks about understanding how I can bring more balance into my life. And what was a really powerful learning was looking away from the now into the future. And all we have really is right now. It's important to recognize that and not be looking ahead 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. All we really have is right now. And as I'm realizing that, that's a really powerful realization for me. And it really shows the ability to be centered is very important, because if you're always drifting off, you're not centered, you're not focused, you're letting every news story, every personal reaction cause you to drift off and not be focused within your life. And you're not looking at what you're holding on to, you're not looking at how you can be a better listener. And that's part of the realization for me is I realized like I could be the talker and I can ask for help. And lots of people are willing to be helpful and helping, even if it's only just listening. And that's a really powerful experience, and it's a really great way to look at the card and not as, oh, it looks scary. You can look at it on a deeper level and say, oh, what am I not looking at in my life? What can I ask for help with? Maybe it's not all doom and gloom. Maybe the card really relates to simply looking at how you can look closer at your life and notice what you're not noticing, what you're not paying attention to, what you're not integrating. And again, the good questions to ask any tarot card might be, what tools might be appropriate right now, what chakras might need to be focused on, what needs to be expressed in my life, and what aspect of my shadow needs to be addressed. Paying attention to all these can help you to really uncover a lot more information than just looking at the card on its surface level. And as we're looking at this week, centering, it can really help us to look at how can we better center. And an aspect of centering that most people don't think about is forgiveness. And Paul Young says forgiveness is not about forgetting, it's about letting go of another person's throat. Forgiveness does not create a relationship unless people speak the truth about what they have done and change their mind and behavior. A relationship of trust is not possible. When you forgive someone, you certainly release them from judgment, but without true change, no relationship can be established. And that's the real key here. We might forgive someone or even ourselves for having done something, but unless our activities and our behaviors change, then we really aren't developing a relationship with that other person or ourselves. And forgiveness really creates the space for us to move forward. It doesn't necessarily create the space for an enhanced relationship. And in many cases that might be okay, but if it's forgiving someone that's an intimate relationship in your life, then you'll want to find a way to talk about that and deepen your relationship. And perhaps by developing some other centering methods, you'll be better able to forgive and move on into deepen your relationship as well. Gratitude is another method that can definitely help you to center and relax into your life. Waking up in the morning and putting your feet on the ground and being happy that you woke up this morning, for one, and being grateful for everything that you passed on your way to the shower, being grateful for the rug that you're stepping on, being grateful for the simple things, and enjoying the fact that you're inside and being grateful. And silence is another method that can work, as long as you're not using the silence as a way to avoid being in relationship with yourself or others. And the flip side of that is that you're not being noisy and chaotic and speaking just to fill the silence. And we'll talk more about meditation, as that's overall a great way to be centered, but there's many, many, many techniques that can help us to center and be grounded within the realm of meditation. And if you're at work, there's many simple techniques that you can apply to connect in and let go of any tension that you might be feeling. Perhaps a meeting is about to take place and you need to be really calm and focused and not let the distractions take you and put you off kilter. And one exercise that might be really good and helpful is to simply sit in a chair, close your eyes, and relax your muscles as you feel yourself letting go of tension right before the meeting. So you might only have 5 minutes, so close your door. If you have a door, close your eyes and feel yourself letting go of the stress and feel your muscles all relaxing. And that might be a really quick way to connect inward and center. Of course, breathing is always a great way to center, and you might wish to add breathing to your sitting in a chair posture and just notice how your breath is in the moment. If you're panicked, you might want to sit down and slowly breathe and maybe play some music from your phone that's relaxing, maybe the ocean, and that might help you to calm yourself and center before the meeting. Another good practice might be to imagine a golden egg of light encircling you as you prepare to enter the meeting. Feel yourself protected, feel yourself grounded to the earth. You might, in your chair, see the egg expanding and shielding you from all the chaos and static, and then see from the base of your spine an anchoring light extend down deep into the earth, grounding you and holding you firm so you're not knocked off edge, don't feel out of control, and feel a lot more firmer and a lot more grounded. These are a lot of quick, simple tips that can really help you to center yourself and feel better able to handle the normal everyday. But it's important not just to use these and the other techniques that I'll be mentioning as a last-minute option. It's finding a way to work them into your everyday life. Maybe not meditating every single day, but meditating every other day or 5 minutes, at least 2 or 3 times a week, and having an intention to do that. And a quote from John Kabat-Zinn says meditating is living your life as if it really mattered. So if your life does really matter, then realizing that meditation is a way to keep you centered and a lot calmer and ready to handle the stress that's in everyday life, and better able then to connect to your intuition. Now we have about 5 minutes until our break. So I welcome you to give us a call in after the break when we come back and talk about a dream you've had or your intuition or how well you did perhaps with this intuitive challenge. Maybe you were like Donna and saw various lights and didn't know how they correlated to the image. That might help to talk about it, and we can discuss that. And you might call in and talk about how you meditate and what kinds of meditation practices that you do. I had wanted to mention a study in 1993. It's gotten a lot of critics, but it still seemed to have a very powerful effect. And it's called the Maharishi meditation, and it was done in Washington, D.C., where a group of meditators got together for a month, and they measured about 20 different statistics, and they noticed that when they meditated together, that the crime rate went down during that month, and versus they did do quite a bit of measurement, and of course other people who don't agree with meditation necessarily found ways to debunk this, but it does seem to have some sort of effect, and there's other studies that have been done around meditation with just as powerful a measurement as well, and you might want to look into that just to see how meditation can affect your life. Quite a number of studies, mention some of them in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine in 1996. John Kabat-Zinn did an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction study and with his students, and he noticed that it helped them to increase their empathy. And there's other studies that really shows that it helps increase self-compassion and being kind to yourself. So these studies are all out there on the net. I welcome you to go find them. And the Dalai Lama really talks about meditation as a way to step past our headline news and stop being driven by the news so much, not being cynical, and don't take the good things in your life for granted. We expect people to be loving and giving. We don't expect people to behave violently. And the fact that those kinds of events are sensations really shows that. And that's when he talks about really being reflective and stepping away from the cynicalness and allowing yourself the space to meditate. And once you realize that it can be good for you, you can find a way to do it for yourself and be less driven by the news and more excited about how people behave in your life, because it just shows that we take a lot of our lives for granted by noticing how people react to the news. And with that, we'll take a break and come back and talk more about meditation. Thanks.
You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network. Visit our website where you can chat with our host at awakenedradio.net. If you'd like to listen to us on the go, Visit TuneIn.com. Download their free app and then look for Awakened Radio. You can take us everywhere. Tell all your friends how to listen to the Awakened Radio Network. Awakened Radio is a people-powered radio station. We are occupying the airwaves with the message of personal empowerment, encouraging our listeners to create consciously, to be aware, to be honest, and to heal those areas of our lives that are really starting to bug us. Join our host at awakenedradio.net, where you will find discussions on energy work, meditation, politics, UFOs, aliens, and everything in between. Awakenedradio.net, the people-powered information radio station. Did you know that you can host your own broadcast with the Awakened Radio Network? Join us at awakenedradio.net. Look up at the top where it says services. Click on Be a Host. Check there for information on how to share your message with our global listening audience. You can also add Awakened Radio to Skype and contact our station manager, or email the station at awakenedradio@gmail.com. Find out how easy, fun, and awesome it is to be part of the Awakened Radio Network family.
Welcome to Your Unfolding Senses. I'm your host, Ragozzine, and this show is about everything intuition. And it's brought to you by Intuition by Rob.net. Hello, we're back. This is Rob Ragozzine. This is Your Unfolding Senses. Please dial 334-649-7204 if you have a question about intuition, or add Awakened Radio to Skype, or you can come into the chat room at awakenedradio.net and click on the live chat tab. You can also click on the forum tab and learn more about me. Excuse me, I just did that. And then you would click on the Awaken Radio shows Interact, which is sort of in the middle of the page when it comes up. And then in there you would click on Your Unfolding Senses, and I have a synopsis of many of the shows that I've done, and you can listen to many of the shows, and you have links to my Facebook page, which is Your Unfolding Senses on Facebook with no spaces, I believe, and Intuition by Rob.net, where you can join my mailing list for the show, and I also tweet at Intuition by Rob all about the topic for the show and what I'll be talking about this coming week or any week. So I welcome you to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, or come to the forum and interact with me there and ask questions if you have any questions. And before the break, I was talking about centering and just noticing how you carry yourself and stepping away from the cynicism and really noticing that there is a lot of joy in life. And what distracts us often is that a lot of the good stuff just isn't reported. And I believe I have a question. I have to make my way back to that page. And the question is, do I use music for meditation? If so, what kind? And that's a really great question. I use a lot of flute music or drumming music. You might like classical music, but since I've done a lot of shamanic studying, I believe, I'd like to listen to the flute music. 'Cause sometimes I'll change mid-meditation and do a quick journey, or I'll sit down and do a journey instead of meditation. So to me, the drumming really helps to connect in to the journey. So that's my meditation music. Either that or use chanting, a lot of Gregorian chanting, and you might find a lot of that music anywhere online. I guess Amazon sells it really cheap on occasion, and that's how I got my collection. And yeah, a lot of the Gregorian chanting is really nice. So you can find it on iTunes or Amazon or really anywhere, and that's what I often use. So it's either the musical instruments or the chanting, usually the chanting or the drumming or the flute music. But you really have to find something that speaks to you. If those distract you, keep you out of the meditation, then they won't help you. Find something that really helps you. And maybe connecting with nature and spending more time outside, sitting near a tree, connecting with the plant life, might help you to do your meditation on a deeper level, or gardening, or anything outside. Walking barefoot on the ground definitely can be centering and grounding. And also, studies show that you'll feel better if you're walking barefoot on the ground. Just make sure that you're not walking on someone's lawn that's sprayed with chemicals. Now, what does it mean to be centered? Obviously, you're better focused, you're less fuzzy, you're more present, you're in the moment. And if you've been practicing meditation for a while, people will notice that when you don't meditate, or when you do, they'll notice how clear and available you are. Helps you step out of what I call the static, the busyness, the chaos, and step into a calmer space. Helps you find your own answers. Centering helps you to slow down your mind, get out of your own way, get a fresh perspective, helps you to be calmer. So that's really what I'm talking about. It's bringing a sense of peace to the spiritual part of you, the mental part of you, the emotional, and the physical. It's all helping everything to slow down, calm down, and release any pent-up energy that causes distress. And then doing that leads to being better able to connect to your intuition, better able to be you. So I mentioned the breath work earlier in the show, so doing breathing exercises, finding one that really speaks to you, doing meditation, and finding music that really helps you to slow down and relax. You might like to listen to rock music, but that's typically not meditation music. Now, we'll do a quick grounding exercise that can help us to connect inward and feel really connected to the earth around us. It helps if you do this outside, but if you're inside and feeling stressed, it still can help. And I mentioned it earlier about connecting in and sending light down from your spine deep into the earth, and imagining that it connects with a boulder or a large rock and roots into it and helps you to feel more stable. So with your eyes closed, it really aids in your focus but isn't essential. Imagine that there's a spot right at the base of your spine or right below it, and from this space, imagine sending out light down deep into the earth. And it grows and grows and grows, and finally connects to a large boulder. And as you inhale, imagine that you're breathing up energy that can help you to release your stress, and it travels up the root into your spine and throughout your body. And sit there patiently and feel this. If you don't feel anything, that's okay. Just imagine that you're drawing up healing energy just as if a plant was drawing up nutrients. Consider them to be nutrients, drawing up nutrients from the earth, nurturing yourself and being rooted and firmly planted. And it's another quick step to take to center yourself, feel calmer, feel better about the situation. Obviously, if there's a lot of stress going on, you won't immediately step out of it, but you'll feel less of it. Do you need to do it every day? Something is important to do every day, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 20, however much you can spare. Think of it as exercise, really. You want to exercise 3-4 hours a week. Maybe you want to meditate 3-4 hours a week. But if you don't have a regular practice, maybe you want to make a commitment to yourself to develop a regular practice and to make it an important part of your life. You might want to form a group, and then you'll know that you'll be doing it at least every time that you meet. I've been meeting with a meditation group, I want to say, for over 10 years now. That helps to be with a group, and then the energy is that much more powerful. You'll feel that much better after meeting. And I talked about some of the studies where it showed that groups seem to have an impact on the environment in which they're meditating. So think about that, then you can decide on developing one for yourself. A lot of great sites out there on the internet that help you to form groups and get the ball rolling. Now, you might also, as I mentioned before, try gardening, walking barefoot outside, and recording your experiences after you've done them and notice how you feel. Maybe you keep track of your blood pressure. You can track that along with your meditation, see if it is actually lowered. You might see if you feel a lot more relaxed, see how your muscles feel. Maybe they're not tightening up on you as much. Maybe you're sleeping better. Maybe you feel less anxious. Self-esteem has been improved. All these are benefits of regular meditation. Just to notice, just to record this, might really help you to have the push to keep doing it. A lot of times we might start something new and then say, oh, that didn't help. But if you record your experiences, you'll notice what the actual benefits are. Obviously, we're talking about better balance, and instead of turning away from important issues that are causing you internal pain and anxiety, you'll be better able to handle them, and just having the capacity to be in the moment and feel it as it's happening, rather than to say, no, that's not for me, I can't handle it. Well, yes, you can, and it gives you the capacity to handle greater and greater moments and greater issues of stress. But it takes that first time by saying, I'm not going to turn away this time, I'm going to feel it and see what I feel motivated to do. Maybe the best thing that you can do is to feel the pain, and then later on you'll find a way to change your life so that there's less of the pain. And it's really learning that there's meaning behind the concept and words. And recognizing what it means to have compassion for someone who seems to be half a world away. But really, that's you. And if you turn away from the pain, you're turning away from a part of yourself. So it's accepting the pain and maybe working with Tonglen to heal that within yourself and addressing the shadow issues that it touches. And yes, I do take calls. We still have about 15 minutes of the show, so 334-649-7204 or add Awaken Radio to Skype. And I'll talk with you with whatever questions you might have. And I'd like to talk about chanting, as I think it came up just now in the chat room. I've been having a note to talk about chanting for a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to get to it. And a chant that I've been working with is a chant to Ganesha, and Ganesha represents the remover of obstacles in a real quick synopsis, but it doesn't mean that your obstacles necessarily are going away. You can do a chant with, you'll obviously need mala beads, and the chant's typically done 108 times, and if you search on Ganesha, an obstacle breaker, on YouTube, you can find some good chants to do, and you can buy mala beads relatively inexpensively, and it's connecting into the chant, and it's basically almost a prayer to receive help to work with your obstacles. Now, if you're looking to find a way to relieve the stress of your boss, it might not necessarily change him, but you might find a new job, or if you're chanting for a new job, you might not find one necessarily right away, or you might suddenly find yourself in a new position within your old job, or if you're chanting to change the way your partner reacts to you, it might be you that suddenly changed, and now you don't suddenly feel so much stress around them. Somehow the way that you relate changes. It's not a direct change, it's sort of a flowing, indirect path to change. And the chant, which I always have a hard time pronouncing, is Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. And you would chant that 108 times. And it's one way to connect in and work with releasing and chanting. One cycle of bead around the beads 108 times is a round. And you can do one round or multiple rounds. It's a really good way to let go of the worry around an obstacle, as long as you're not just doing it closed-mindedly. There's obviously other ways to work through prayer, and we'll talk about those in the future, and even spinning, or even other ways around chanting, singing, chanting, vocalizing, breath work, laughter, toning, speaking, all great ways that help to activate your fifth chakra, so that you get the words out, you get the feeling out, and you're not holding on to that, and helps to release stress and helps you to see the bigger picture. And again, you can find that chant on YouTube and just search on Ganesha Obstacle Breaker, Ganesha, and it's an elephant, and it's often honored throughout India and in Hindu cultures, both at secular and religious ceremonies. And when someone starts a new business, moves into a new home, they chant to Ganesha, or invoke him to bless whatever it is that's new and fresh. And it's a way to ask that there be no obstacles in their life, a new venture. it doesn't mean necessarily that something's blocking your way to success, that appealing to Ganesh will have him come or have the situation suddenly change, as I was mentioning before. It's more indirect. And so instead of fixing a relationship, you might find a new one, for instance. And in my notes, I have the Om is recognized as sort of saying salutations, hello, everyone, stand up, wake up. The Gum is his Bija mantra, sort of the secret sound. And then you're chanting Ganapatiye, which is to Ganesh. And then the Namaha is sort of calling him, come through, help me, please, in a basic synopsis. So thinking of it as sort of an indirect way to release your stress and achieve freedom and release from your stress. And another quote from the Dalai Lama, he says, the more we care for the happiness of others, the greater our own sense of well-being becomes. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. This helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us the strength to cope with any obstacles we encounter. It is the ultimate source of success in life. So really paying attention to how you view your obstacles and looking at how you're asking for help in your life and recognizing that you can do that and you can stay grounded, and meditation is one way to really help you to stay grounded. Developing regular practice around that can be very helpful, very healing, and to really pay attention to whether or not you're doing that. I posted another chakra meditation, the second chakra this week, up on intuitionbyrob.net, and it's on SoundCloud, and you can read through the text of it as well on my page. It's all about connecting to the second chakra and exploring what it has for you to express in your life. Now it connects to emotional and sensuality aspects of your life. And Kate in the chat room says that was a great meditation. And it is if you're confused about the second chakra and what it might have, what it might mean for you in your life. So it's a short meditation. Try it out. If you don't have time to listen to it, read through it and speak it out for yourself and see how it helps you to connect to the second chakra. Now, meditation can also help you to be more aware and focused and be present for the relationships in your life. And isn't that what we really all want? What I notice for myself is when I step out of the doubt and getting caught up in the thoughts and busyness, that's when relationship happens. It's not even about necessarily going after someone, but just seeing who's right in front of me. So just noticing who's there, who's present, who's with you. And that's what happens to a lot of people when they meditate. They start to recognize that they're already in some real important and beautiful relationships. And it really helps you to see what's been unfolding that you might not even have been paying attention to. The meditation really is helping you to be okay with you, and it's respecting yourself, respecting your space, respecting your body, and helping you to be present and available and then boom, all of a sudden the relationship opens up and presents itself to you, but it was there all along. So I'm just noticing, that's another thing to really just notice is how is the meditation helping you not only to be focused and centered, how is it helping you to be in better relationship with yourself and with others? And you may notice that they seem to be really clicking and popping in your life once you begin to develop a regular meditation practice. And again, you can go to my page and click on the chakra meditation for the second chakra. I'll have up others for the other chakras up over time, but this week it's the second chakra. And I want to thank you for listening tonight and remind you to go to intuitionbyrob.net. That's the page that I talk about intuition and various topics that I'll be talking about during the week, upcoming weeks for my shows, what I have talked about, what I'm exploring for myself. And you can also go to my Facebook page, which is Your Unfolding Senses, and on Twitter, Intuition by Rob. And again, I tweet about what I'm usually talking about that week in upcoming shows, talk about dreams, I talk about intuition. Feel free to ask me any kind of question you might have had about a dream, or email me, or DM, Twitter, Facebook, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Stay tuned for Christina Chandler Carter. Up next, Your Aura Connection. Always fascinating topics, connecting more deeply with your soul. And be sure to stay tuned for that. Right up next. And if you have a particular dream that you'd like to work with, I'll be more than happy to work with you. You can come to the awakenradio.net website, click on the forum, and navigate to Your Unfolding Senses, and I have a link to the Divine Connection store area of awakenradio.net where you can order a reading. And we can talk about that. And I challenge you during the week just to notice how you are in relationship to yourself, how you are in relationship to others, and notice the words that you use, notice the phrases, notice how you hold your body, how that influences others. Notice the space that you're in and see if you need to do any spring cleaning, what can be let go of, how can letting go of something in your home help to foster a greater connection to it and help it to feel more welcoming and allow you to develop a space, build a space that fosters meditation. And just to notice what needs to be cleared away, what needs to be brought in, and how can that help you to express what you've been feeling in your heart needs to be expressed. And that can be done through chanting, that can be done through vocalization, toning, many, many different methods. And we talked about Ganesha tonight. I welcome you to try that, and I'll post that in my forum, a link to a chant on YouTube if you're interested in that. Again, thanks for joining me tonight. Look forward to talking to you next week. Please join us again at awakenedradio.net. And as we have one more minute, I want to leave you with a quote from, I had a quote somewhere. Anyway, we'll leave you with John Kabat-Zinn, and he says, meditating is living your life as if it really mattered. So just paying attention to that and asking, how can I invite meditation into my life and live my life as if it did really matter, because it does. And just tune in to your body and ask, what did